evict me and I'm begging. But so what is home for me? Home is Gab. Home is this platform that, again, I wouldn't go into just selling it and talking about it all over again. But what do I take from home? Home is where, as soon as I get there, I forget the chaos of the world. Home is that place where all anxiety goes to death. Everything I worry about, if indeed home is home and not a house, worries go to sleep when I'm home. Home is where I find peace of mind. Home is where home is. And I'm not trying to be poetic, but home is where home is. Home in this case then becomes my mother. Home in this case then becomes my brother. Home in this case then becomes my spouse. Home in this case becomes my child.
Rez, you know I'm the troublemaker in the house. So
Let's
what
go.
happens if home is where chaos is?
Then it's no longer home.
Exactly.
Would it still be
Mike,
home?
Mike, yeah, we are starting.
I like that. Saying that if you find joy, it says, what if home is where chaos is? If you find home in chaos, then that is your home, right? Some people, some of us might. I feel like black and like with music, we have the black and white keys. Is that there are some people that it is their own thing to shake things up. They don't like things to always be peaceful. So if you have that gift, as much as I would not want it around me, but we have the gift to like
Be chaotic.
yes, to be chaotic, useful chaos, because some things have to scatter for us to like rebuild. Do you understand? So if you find home in that, then that is home to you. Personally, I think that home is. Can I now give my answer? Because I was trying to answer that.
Yes.
In 2020, after the lockdown and all, a lot of us spent time indoors and all of that. Personally, I started looking a lot inward, and I noticed that physically my environment is going to change, and that one constant all through my life is me. So my body, I'm going to take my body around everywhere I travel. If I'm going to Spain, if I'm going to Paris, if I'm going to wherever I'm going to, I carry myself. So one of the things I now notice is I love times we try to find, which is not a negative thing, but we try to find home in people, things and all, but we've never found home in ourselves. So we keep trying to feel, and yet because everything outside us is not constant, we could break down. Nothing is constant. As much as family, we love family and all, tomorrow someone that you're so close to might not be there again. And that's not to say not to give all of yourself. But I'm just saying that for me, one of the things I'm learning is that home is within me, right? Then I can now share my home with other people. Yeah, so that's my perspective of home. That
Thank you
home is
very much.
inside me, and then I can share I can share
Home
that
is
peace
inside you.
with other people. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, that's a good one. Who wants to add? Okay.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Please introduce yourself, and we didn't do that with you. Introduce yourself, because there are many new people. We have old faces and now many new faces, and I think it's okay to mention your name so people know who you are, and then we'll take it from there. Who you are, what you do. Simple formula. Who you are, what you do.
Okay, my name is Neng Kang Moon, and just before...
Do you want to say that again? I'm not sure they...
Neng Kang Moon, 10 letters, 3 syllables, and it's a Nigerian name. But you can call me Nen. Don't call me Nen. Call me Nen. Like
Nen.
with a little bit of plateau accent.
Nen.
Yes, Nen.
Nen.
So, I'm gonna speak about home being chaos, right? From where I come from. My place is a place that gets, like, we are always in the news for being attacked. Like, you have Fulani headsmen killing people and stuff. And when I moved to Lagos, this is my third year in Lagos, people were like, why do people still stay there? Can't you people move? In my head, I'm like, do you realize how many million people live in Plateau State? And where the hell do you expect them to move to? So even in the chaos of insecurity, Plateau is still home to Plateau people. Now to Nigeria, even in the chaos of dollar is now 1.7, right? Last year it was 400 and we were shouting. Now it's 1.7. Nigeria is still home to us, even in the chaos of the economic meltdown. So I think that in as much as home is home because of, home can also be home in spite of. So even with the chaos, it does not stop it from being home. And then in admitting that there is chaos, you might just begin to walk towards the path of peace or calm or whatever it is to move away from there.
Thank you,
where
man.
we come to that.
Thank you. Any other taker? There Sola. I've said your name, but you still have to say it again and what you do.
Okay. Hello, my name is Aderin Sola.
Projects, please.
Okay. Hello, my name is Aderin Sola. And
Hi, Aderi Sola.
hi. So I'm a singer, a guitarist. So I was saying that home could also be a person. Yeah, home could be a person. For me, my mom is my home. So yeah, many times I would think that home is going home. You know, like right now, we're all adults. You stay by yourself, and everything is just wrong. And you feel like, I used to think that it's because I go home, and then home, family home. But then when my mom traveled, I realized that it's not the house per se; it's the person. So even when I went home, I didn't feel like it was home because my mom was not there. So when she, why are you saying? So at the time she got back from travels and all, and I went home, then it felt like home. It felt like it wasn't because she's my mom. It just felt like, oh, there was someone that cared about me, that said, okay, what are you going to eat? That prepared something for me. And it's not really about the food. It's just her warmth. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. But for me, she's my home. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other person that his name is not Morgan?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Projects, please.
So my name is Louis.
Lewis.
Yes. So I have a kind of concern and a question to your point. Yes.
Aderi Sola.
So in a case where you place a person as your home, right? So what happens? How do you then move on in a case where, say, the supposing home is no more? So how do you think one should be able to, cope or move on in that kind of situation? Because it can be very kind of dicey. It could be, when you place too much emotions on somebody. I'll give you an instance.
Or please.
I was in a toxic relationship before I was saved.
Hallelujah.
Love that.
I'm telling you from experience, I got too emotionally attached that I was almost going crazy. Just to buttress your points, making that kind of person my own, right? So moving forward without that person was serious. And it took, let me just say, a God sent to just come at that point to help me move on. So in a case where you make a person your own, so in just like I said, in my instance, how do you move on? How do you then do you then remake your home to another level or to another place or to another person?
I have an answer.
Wait for the mic, please.
Okay, first, let me correct the notion that home is not you making the person your home. It is not something you did intentionally that, oh, because this person is my mom, she's going to be my home. No. It just happens. It's a feeling, it just happens. And when the person leaves, okay, so home for me is not a permanent, it's not like a permanent residence, or how do I put it now? Yeah. It's not a permanent thing. It means
are
that...
you saying it's not a physical space?
No, that's not what I want. It's not a final destination. It means that then it happens with... You can be in different phases of life. Different people can become home to you at different phase of your life. It could be your gate man. It could just be something about them. You get what I mean? So it's not like it's a final destination, like it has to be this person. It means that, okay, like I said, my mom traveled for a while. Does it mean that the troubles of the world came to an end at that point? No. It meant that something else represented it for me. The only thing that happened in that space was I realized that, okay, the only reason I feel this place is my home is because my mom is there. So if my mom is not in the picture, for example, heaven forbid right now, someone else is going to happen. Something. It could be your music, it could be your guitar. I have been in a particular point where my guitar was my home. You know, so everybody chop breakfast. So at that point, my guitar was my home. So what I'm trying to say is that home is not a final destination. It keeps evolving. It moves like that. You know, sometimes it could be your car, sometimes it could be your guitar, sometimes it could be a person. It's not a stagnant thing. So if that thing changes, yeah.
Okay. All right, thanks. There's someone on the queue before you. So if you want to speak, raise your hand and I'll note it. Okay, okay. Let the other person indulge you.
Yeah, if you go spoil the flow, you get. So I want to say many things on this particular home topic, but just like the way she said it, for me now, my home is my bank account. The day my account is empty, I feel very homeless. You understand?
And that can be literally
you understand that kind of thing? And you know me, I don't really buy this idea that say, money does not buy happiness. Does poverty buy happiness? Poverty does not buy it too, you get. So one thing I would like to say is this. You know, first of all, human beings, when human beings are gathered in in a place that they are worshiping, they call it church or mosque. Do you understand? A house is actually a structure. It's still human beings that makes it home. You get. That's why when a lady marries or a man marries, they say, oh, they've started a new home. So a home is not actually a house. Do you understand? It's the people that lives in the house that form the home. So my own point, what I'm trying to add is, I feel as an individual, it is not good to actually put all your eggs in one basket. Rats wey get one hole, no, they live long. Yes, because when one hole is blocked, you are gone. So your home can just be anything you find peace on, but you shouldn't allow your peace to be dependent on one thing. And when that thing crash, you are gone. I don't know if you understand my point.
Very well.
So that's just my point. Have different form of homes. Do you understand?
It sounds like a rolling stone, but
Hi.
Okay, after you.
Okay, my name is Victor, and just to pick on the home topic, I understand that we elevate people, places, and relationships in our lives, and that gives us security around those people. That gives us peace as a primary concern. But like she said, there are phases in our lives when some people leave, some people come in, and then peace is redefined. I think the only constant thing in this our home and peace search, that's an eternal search, is one thing: we must always create two homes, and the most important home is love within ourselves for ourselves. So that when the home that's important, the peace, the love, people who have elevated in our lives, when they fail, when they disappear, when they go, until we find people that are worthy of taking that spot, we live and run on the love that's most important, the home that we built for ourselves within ourselves.
Thank you. All right. Okay, I have this, so I don't need this. But just before I hand you the mic, I'll just speak on behalf of Gab. Grab Joints is now home. And for Gab to stay at home, we need Grab Joints to remain a home. And we all get to contribute to that. So please, guys, the guys at the bar will pass the menu around. Look for something within your budget, because your bank account is your home. Don't go outside of home. But please, let's keep home alive, basically. Thank you. Over to you. And I will come back. I'll talk about Rap Joints, what Rap Joints stands for, what it's about at some point in time. But I think it's important because it's a very important partnership for us, and we're on a new journey with the space. So over to you, sir.
All right. Hi. Good evening, everyone. To also add to what everyone has said, I would like to paraphrase something that Trevor Noah said when he was talking about what he was talking about was majorly friendship, and how to him friendship means to those who have watched Harry Potter, what Voldemort did when creating Horcruxes, right? Keeping a piece of himself in different objects. So to him, that's how we related friendship as, and I think we're also related to being home, right? Having a part of yourself in each person. I mean, you can relate with different people, different ways. You have friends who, okay, maybe you want to hang out on a Saturday, just chill. You have this kind of friends. You have those who they do like happening. You have this kind of friends. So that's what home can be, right? Having when you're in different situations, when you're in different places, you can move to one place or the other and have a piece of yourself in them, and that can be your home too.
All right. Thank you very much. Guys, let's clap. Let's build the vibe up. Yeah?
So I think to add two things to the conversation, I think there was something that Ruth mentioned that resonated a whole lot. And then it reminded me again that there was a time in my life I used to be a poet. And then it reminded me of something I wrote a long time ago, and which is also very, very important to the concept of home. So it's a very, I think I wrote this poem at a point in my life where plenty things were happening. So it's a very long piece, so I'm just going to pick out 2 lines from it. And it says, the worst place for a person to live is inside of another person. The worst place for a person to live is inside of another person. We forget we have to learn to live inside of ourselves before we can live inside of any other thing. So there's this thing about, I know that there's a lot of case that has been made for, your home can be a person, a thing, but I think it's also very, very important to note that if you do not find peace within yourself first and foremost, you would never find it in any other person or in any other place, regardless of how much they bring to your life, regardless of how much they impact you and all. If you do not first find that home inside of yourself, then it becomes, it's impossible for you to find it in any other person. And then layering on that is, when we look at this conversation of home, there's this very common belief, which I've also noticed from what we've said, that people tend to ascribe home to people or things they love, which is perfectly fine. But is it really everybody you love, everything you love, that is home to you? So in that context, so what exactly does home mean? I think it's the first place. Like, what does home mean to each person? So you might love spending time with someone, you might enjoy the company of someone, but does that mean, is that what home means? Or being in that kind of space with someone, wanting to spend more time with someone, missing someone, Is that what makes someone home? Or is there like some sort of higher meaning? So like, okay, I like this person. I love to spend time with this person, but this is home. Is this something that we place above just that, or, it feels good when I'm with this person. I feel safe when I'm around this person. I love spending time with this person. Is that really essentially what we would define as home?
Thank you, Abib. Round of applause, guys. I can see some poets are writing, but there's someone before you. Just hold your thoughts. Sir.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Ayo.
Hi, Ayo.
So, okay, talking about this
project.
Talking about the home thing and all. So, for me, I feel home is a safe space. Yeah, your safe space. Let me use the structure like we call our house. Let me use that as an example, okay? So, I could be somewhere else. I could be everywhere working or be somewhere else that is not my house. And I still feel uncomfortable. There is bed, there's everything there. But I just want to get to that my bed that does not even have wood, that does not have anything, or my mat. In that place I call my space. So I feel when you talk about home, you talk about your safe space. It could be anything. It could be someone. It could be, when I talk about friend and someone, it could be your mom, like she said, her mom. I feel when she's with her, she just feels safe, and that's just all. Okay, so I feel home is your safe space. That's that place.
All right. I want to take more comments, but I think it would be nice to have some sort of interlude, creative expression interlude, some performance. But before that, let's have him, since he had his hand up. Then, Luis, I'll call you afterwards.
So, basically, to add up to his comments, which was actually ringing on my mind. How about we look at it from this perspective? We trying to find a better definition to home. How about we explore the correlation between home and peace, home and safety? So if we're able to define the correlation between home and safety, so in a situation whereby you claim somebody or something is your home, and maybe for a while or a situation arise, and there seems not to be peace or safety in that kind of situation, maybe temporarily. So how then do we then redefine that context? So we need to really, really critically look into what we define as home. So we need to examine the correlation between home, peace, and safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. There are many dimensions to what home is. Sometimes it feels like we're trying to define home, but sometimes it feels like in this conversation we are finding home, like we're searching for it. We are not defining it, we're searching for it. It's overlapping, but I think we'll come back to that. In the interim, let's have a performance. I would like to call on Ruth Mahogany, who would give us a kind of performance, a special kind of performance.
For context, to cast Ruth, because he's trying to form humble. Ruth is one of like the most decorated slam poets in the country, by the way, just to add that.
She's a maverick, she's a singer, a poet, a producer. She's many things in one. And she has taught the world. Don't be humble, Ruth.
Good evening, everyone. He would help me tune the guitar, but before then, let me try and ease off tension. All those things that they are saying. Now come and have high expectations. It's your business.
At night,
when the moon is out, they will form a circle and sit around. And their ears will itch for a perfect story. We will look them right in their faces and say out loud, there is none. That the stories they wish to hear do not exist. We will tell them that the tales we have to tell, whether of ourselves or of the things we have seen on this earth, all belong to a world distant from perfection. They will seek tales of utter bravery, but we will tell them of fears. We will tell them of scars, we will tell them of tears. They will want to hear that we reach these top floors through elevators, but we will tell them about the stairs. That there were little or no rosy ways around the steps. That on some days, our thighs hurt, but we kept climbing still. We will tell them of crooked lines, that straight lines are a myth. Shey they say our stories have shapes, but the geometry of our tales is made up of multiple jagged edges and many intersecting arcs. We will tell them of days they will want to hear of. We will tell them of days our backs hit the ground hard. Days when the word victory was too heavy for the muscles of our tongue. When the only songs we mouthed were sad rhythms under our breath. For roses never made a fine teacher like thorns. The finest teachers, the finest sailors were crafted by storms. So at night in their minds we will flick a light bulb so they see that we appreciate the shots because we have been through longer. We appreciate the food because we have been through hunger. We appreciate the calm because we once heard the thunder. If things were always easy, we won't get any stronger. We will tell them that we are not being sadists, but there are no stories without this. For the victories of ours that now exist only stemmed from conquering the pain that we once lived. We will tell them. I can go?
Yeah, don't worry. I'll do the mic holding for you.
Okay, I wanted to perform something else. One more thing.
Please, go ahead.
You're good.
This don't define us. There's much more inside us, yeah. Please believe me when I say there's beauty living inside us, yeah. This don't define us. There's much more inside us. Please believe me when I say there's beauty living inside us. I'm not even sure how I would start writing. When I started this piece, my brain felt blank like a pure white sheet. It might be quite unlikely that this will make sense, but let me try and see. Because I'm not trying to write a perfect piece. I know I want to talk about imperfections, so I think this works perfectly. Some days, I feel like one huge bag of flaws. That, of course, is not my fault. I am just only used to seeing my lapses. The things we never seem to notice always seem absent. So into non-existence, my strengths are sent. They call out to me, I put them on blacklist. Flaws take front row, strengths the back seats. I choke them for air, they are gasping. In a world that only seems to serve pain dishes, maybe this is survival mechanism to aid living, that I beat myself so hard within so I can handle the cruel criticism the world could give. Maybe there's something about us as mortals that makes us only easily see blunders in ourselves. Then we extend the favor to others. Seems that none of us has grace to give anyone. How could we, when we are low-key dissatisfied with who we are, obsessed with who we would rather be? When there's a part of us that feels unworthy of love, a part we would rather hide. See, what we have to give first comes from the abundance of what we offer ourselves. So then the most important conflicts we will resolve are those that sit deep in us. The struggle of self-acceptance over self-disgust, embracing that the magnificence that we are
comes with flaws. This is what it is to be human. We cannot deny these bits. That we are imperfect, but truly it is a gift. It shouldn't stop us from seeing the things that we and others have to give. The solutions we offer, the burdens that we lift. Imperfection is a gift. This don't define us. There's much more inside us. Please believe me when I say there's beauty living inside us, yeah. This don't define us. There's much more inside us. Please believe me when I say there's beauty living inside us. Imperfection is a gift. Without it, our tales will be boring. It brings in a twist. It spices our stories. An Achilles heel, a bog in our glory. This right here is a well-wrapped parcel. This right here is a well-wrapped parcel dropped at everybody's door, blessing us with the space to be more, to improve the things we cannot and embrace the things we cannot. It's a gentle reminder that we are not mechanical beings nor robotic clones void of feelings. Imperfection is a gift that takes the scales off our eyes so it is clear that there are no infallible people here. It is the same shoes that we all wear. In this side of eternity that we live in, every armor has a crack. Like every day has a dark. Every system can be hacked. You know what kryptonite does to Clark. Imperfection is an instructor standing in the classroom of life to teach us compassion. For the one who never falls to the ground might see no reason to help another stand. And the one whose skin is immune to injury might see no reason to administer healing. And it's much easier to love perfect things, whether it's we or others. Last I checked, life is a tough puzzle. It couldn't be simpler. So let me be candid, honey. Perfect is too plastic for me. Nature has its lovely examples to show this for me, like zooming to the back of a tree or the details of your skin. Not exactly smooth, but as lovely as can be. So how about we don't get afraid of aging? Of our bodies gradually walking towards frailty? How about we embrace it? It doesn't define us, it's just the way the Lord made it. Life is transient. So if you ever grasp perfection, it's not yours to keep. Perfect people do not need God, neither do they need love. I don't know about you, but this is good news for me. This don't define us. There's much more inside us. Please believe me when I say there's beauty living inside us. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just don't define us. There's much more inside us. Yeah. Please believe me when I say there's beauty. If you've learned it, we can sing together this time.
Let's go.
This don't define us. There's much more inside us. Please believe me when I say there's beauty living inside us. This don't define us. There's much more inside us. Please believe me when I say there's beauty living inside us.
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Ruth Mahogany. Public service announcement, guys. I see we are all making videos, which is good. Let's continue to share. There are many people who are part of this community who, for some reasons, they are not here. Let them know they are missing. And for those who are still trying to think, okay, is it really back? Let's post, let them know they are back. But how do you do that? We should tag the Gab accounts across all social media at Griots and Bards. At GRIOTSANDBARDS. There's an S. Griots and Bards. Gab. So on your IG, on your TikTok, on Twitter, everywhere is the same accounts. Please record the conversations as we speak, except the person takes exception. And if you don't want to be recorded, let us know when you have the mic. outside of that, let's record, let's make the shots, let's tag, and do hashtag Gab conversations. Are we together? Yeah. Hashtag Gab conversations. The last announcement for me is for the performers. It takes a lot to come and share a piece of us, to perform, to recite, to do what we do. Please, when you're performing or when you're about to perform, also mention your accounts so that you can be tagged. And so, Ruth, do you want to share yours with the audience?
Ruth Mahogany, RuthMahogany, Ruth Mahogany.
At Ruth Mahogany. Please
On every
tag her.
platform.
It's the little way we can project what we do. And again, it's a community, so let's build up that energy. So that will be it in terms of, oh no, I have one more announcement. Rap Joints is home. Let's make it home. Pass the menu around. Please, let's do that. Like NEPA is down now, we're running on Gen, we all know the economy. It takes a lot to build partnerships and to put events like this together. The resources and everything, and so we need to support those that support the arts and support the culture. So, yes, we have said at GAB is always, there's always something from the house. But before we get to that, we should also support, make the house a home, basically. Before the house then shows itself. So that will be it in terms of announcements. I think it's high time we went back to the conversation. Abib, you have something to say?
It's just to get the conversation back on track. I think we left off the conversation at an interesting point. And there's a bit of more context to add to that. I think some of the most, some of the most prominent stories of battles and struggles that we've had are those of people that are being displaced and they've refused to leave the place where they are being displaced from, because to them, that place is home. We've seen it across so many places and across history, where there are people who actually just hold on to a particular place, regardless of how much struggle and how much battle and disturbance that comes to them at that places. You know, they are being killed for being there. And it's not even only between two states or something now. There are people where they've lived in a particular place for years. That's where they've grown. That's where their grandfather and their great-grandfather grew up in. And then some guys just come and say, oh, we want to build this complex here. We want to build this estate here, and you guys need to leave. And you see these people stay, fight to just protect this place that they've called home. You know, and which is also why I asked earlier that if you, in a place, is it just enough to say a place, a person, or a thing is home just because you find peace there? For these people, what they find there is the exact opposite of peace. And that is actually the main reason why they're still there, because that's home for them. And regardless of how much trouble comes to them there, it is still home. Regardless of how much they don't have peace of mind there, it is still home. So when we look at home from this other point of view, so how do we still describe home as peace of mind, or how do we align the definition of home as peace of mind, and at the same time being a place where, you know, there could be no peace of mind?
I think home is a very broad topic, but we should not also, there's a interconnectedness of people and places. But most times when we also lose people, they don't essentially die. Sometimes they jackpot. And when they jackpot, their priorities change, their perspective change, and their narratives change, and you can't connect anymore. Someone is telling you that, you know, there's a pothole somewhere in my community. I just called them party, you know, and they just came around, you know, and then you're like, are we existing on the same plane, you know? And so jackpot is also a huge disconnect. And I can tell you from personal experiences that some of my best friends are out of this country, and there's a sense in which, as they are disconnected from me, I'm disconnected from them. There's something not okay about not being in the same country, you know. And so, yeah, to an extent, you realize that a part of you has also jackpot, but your account has not jackpot.
So in context, home can leave you.
Home can leave you.
Okay. Thank you, Femi. I'll just remind us that the theme is to return home. So don't forget the return. We are talking a lot about what home is, finding home, defining home, or the broad concept is to return home.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Okay, my name is Louis, or Prince Louis, and this has been a very interesting conversation so far, and the performance by Ruth Mahogany, I mean, I was so happy that someone else had to speak, but because that was a very, very tough hat to follow. I wouldn't have been able to speak anything. So thank you. What I want to say basically is that for me, the first thing that comes to my mind, I mean, I'm not as creative as many people here, is the physical structure home. So let's not forget that one exists as well. And for me, when it comes to the physical structure, it is a place where you can be yourself, where you can, and it ties back to what I said about safe space. You see people going to bed in their birthday suits. You can't like do that anywhere else. You probably can only do that in your house or someone else's house that you're very comfortable in. You know, that for me is number one. Number two is country. And Nen, did I get it right? Oh, okay. So that's okay. You know, that part of the chaos that exists, that is part of what makes that home. Because again, like she said in the song, it's not perfect. You hardly can, if you look at it very well, you hardly can find a home that is perfect. You know, it could be your lover, you know, that person could be your home, but they're not exactly your perfect Mr. Right or Miss Right. But you take them as home because they give you everything else that you want in a home. And so it's the same thing as the home that you have, like when you was describing the house, you know, not the bed and everything. That's how it exists. It's not perfect in itself. Now, when I first heard the topic, when Rex mentioned it, the first thing that came to my head was Sankofa. If you know that concept, is a Ghanaian Akan word, which means to go back and get it. And they have a symbol, which is the symbol of the bird, you know, looking backward. And the head of the bird is on the back. And it's a concept that they've used a lot now in decolonization in Ghana, you know, with people going back home and all of that. And I would finally say how that relates to the last thing that he was talking about Jakpa and Jakpada. For those of you that probably have gone to many different countries, the reality is very different. See, there are many people that are overseas that they wish they can be back home. For many reasons. They can come on social media and say, oh yeah, I would never go back to Nigeria. But deep down, when they look at the realities, it could be as little as your skin reactions that would make you feel like this is not home for me. It could be as big as not making enough money as you think you will. So for me, I think a lot of things takes you back to the feeling that you get at home, but it starts with that peace, as he said, that understanding that it's not perfect, but this is where my heart will always be.
Awesome. This is where my heart will always be.
So my name is Sage. I'm a poet. So I wasn't sure I had anything to say about home, really. But as I listened, I began to slightly analyze what I was hearing, and what I should grow taller.
Project.
You were saying like this. So I'm wondering. Okay, so I noticed that some of the definitions of home sounded like a crutch, because like it's a crutch, you know. So I just wrote a few things down. So what some were defining was home is a guitar, or home is a mother, and what I'm hearing is a crutch. The home is where I go, that's so something can prop me up, you know. But so I realized that that's not what it is really, but what home is for most people is that home is a feeling. That's what it is. Because if home is not a house where you go to lay down and sleep, home can be your bank account, can be your guitar, you know. That means home is merely a feeling, you know. So that's what it is. So I felt that so home is a condition. Home is also a situation. You know, that's what home is. For some people, home is the desert. You know, there's no address. Because where's your house? It's just,
this is home.
I live in this desert. Desert is a home. For some people, home is a for Shoyinka, home is a forest. How do I know home is a forest? Wherever he stays, he has to have trees. There are no trees there. It's like, he needs trees. So home is really a forest. But sometimes he pretends to sleep in houses. But home for him is a forest, you know. And for most of us, home at one time was a womb. You know, so home is a condition. Home is a situation that is defined by time, by how you're thinking, by certain situations. That's what home is, you know. And but for me, so I come from a heritage that's Fulani. And sorry, Nen. I grew up in Jos as well, but I come from a heritage that's Fulani. I'm basically Fulani, but my people, they made home in Niger, in Lapai. So home is Mina. Home is also Jos. But because I have a very strong nomadic spirit, yes, I am. You know, so when I pitch a tent somewhere, I try to have as little things as possible. I just don't want anything to hold me. You know. Now, when I rent a house and I put stuff in it, when I move, I leave the things behind. I always leave it behind. I don't know, because I'm thinking that's load. You know, so home is a place for a time. You know, for people like me, because the people that I come from, one arm of them have no home. They just move from one part. They just keep moving. Home is for them is wherever the cow needs to feed. Wherever the cow needs to get food, that's where home is. But then there's those little places where you can like pitch the tent and then move as well. So what I really want us to really what this conversation has made me see is that home is the whole damn earth. That's your home. This is your home, because you know home is a sense of purpose. Because you can be here and then your purpose says you have to move to Australia. That is home. So home is really, really purpose. You know, and home is really determined by a condition, situation, and a lot of other factors. But especially home, for most of us, what I've heard, home is just a feeling. Thank you.
Thank you, Sage.
Thank you so much, Sage.
That last part, you beat me to it. The home is a sense of purpose. Because I was going there. Again, it's when we are in a group, it's easy for a few voices to set us on a path, on a direction. And my next question to the house was going to be, personally, if you're going to define the ideal home, where you can control all the situations, where you can pull all the strings, and that home is not just about now, it's about if you would have paradise on earth, what would that home be? Like, so connecting it to purpose, it doesn't have to be now, here and now. How would you personally define the perfect home that you can return to? We should not forget, if I'm to return home, what does that perfect home looks like? If people are saying, oh, it's not perfect, if you have the power to redesign, to restructure, to redefine, to mold, and whatever zen, whatever you would find there, and that would make life perfection, what would that home be? Very personal, and I'm expecting personal takes.
Let me say one line, sorry. You know, for Christians, home is a fantasy land beyond the sky.
I said here.
Those guys never going to get home here. This is never going to be their home, you know.
There's a song, there's a gospel song about that.
Yeah. So home is a fantasy beyond the sky.
Yeah.
So there's really never going to be a home, you know. I'm Christian, no. I'm Christian, no. But Christians are never going to, so I don't know. I just had to throw that in the mix.
All right, thanks, Sage. But again, if you have that, that is not in the sky home.
We
The
know
one
everybody's
here.
home is in the sky.
Mhm.
Well, let's be
And it's not on the ground as well. It's not up, it's not down. If it's here, what would it be for you?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Martins, and the conversation has been interesting so far. So I would like to start with a question, and I'll give my own personal answers, and I would like you to project your answers in your minds as well. So, have you ever visited a friend or somebody, and the moment you walk into the house, they tell you you can feel at home?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the question there is that, have you really felt at home when you walk into that space? For me, I'll tell you my own answer is I've not really felt at home, no matter how luxurious the place may look. Because for some reason, I find out that even if I spend a long night rest there, when I get home, my bed still calls for more sleep. And I've never understood why. So for me, that makes me think home is where the heart is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can take a trip now to the US and I'm lodged in Marriott, but then my heart is going to be here. Why? While I'm there, there's family calling. How are you? Even those that have Jackpa, they still call and do video calls back home. Their heart is here. If they could change things, as Rez has said, they would change everything here and make here home for themselves. Now, what can I change, or what would I like to change to create the perfect home? If we relate it to the usual family home, a man, they will say, wants to come back home and meet peace and find love in his home. So I think if I could change one thing, I'll just put love in everybody's heart. When everybody loves each other, as I can see some love radiating here, it will feel like home. So that's all I have to say. Thanks.
I was looking around to find the radiation, not the bad radiation. Okay. So I think we'll take one or two more contributions to the conversation, and then we go into another round of performances.
Okay. Thank you. Louis again. So, again, Rex had said that this was personal, so I don't really know, to be honest, how it was going to be, but I think generally it's important to realize that the home that you picture is not the same home that anybody else picture. It has to be yours. The same way you're defining it as yours is the same way, you know, what you want to create will be. And taking it from what he said, in my case, to be honest, is really about the other people. And that's a very difficult thing. It's not exactly that place home or that one person that is your home. It's the other people, you know, that for me, and this is just personal, and I'll be a bit more detailed about it. I think because I work in a space where I engage with people that travel a lot, right? So I understand realities and stuff. And I know how many people would say, oh, why are you in Nigeria and stuff? Do you get? But I love it here. For me, I love it here because majorly of places like this, do you understand? Like places like this for me, makes this home. Friends that I always go out with, makes it home. So for me, I would like to see more people realizing first, not just all of us here, but more people outside realizing first that where we are now is where we are, and we can make the best of it. Because most of the things that take people out is that imaginary greener pasture that sometimes exists and sometimes doesn't. Do you understand? So if we start from here, I don't know if I'm making any sense, but to be honest, like I'm going to create a perfect home for me, it would be a home where not just me, but people around me see themselves as a part of that puzzle, of that jigsaw that makes that big picture of a general home for all of us. It's community. Thank you.
So we'll take him, and then we would have another performance come up.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Sorry, am I loud enough? I have cut. Good evening, everyone. My name is Leo Patrick, and I am a performing. Cleopatra, Leo Patrick. I'm a performing artist. I'm an actor and I'm a singer. So for me, I think we're all here because of something. And I think every one of us seated here or standing is here because in one way or the other we have channeled ourselves to thinking somehow, and our mindset kind of tallies together. So for me, I think home is mindset. It's our mindset, really. Everybody here, we are art lovers, and our mindset is that we're coming here to speak, to trust ourselves, and to talk, to listen to good music and art. That is the mindset. And now they are good homes and they are bad homes. There are homes that are chaotic. They are very chaotic, and there are homes that are good. But where your mind belongs to is your home. And anywhere your mind belongs to is your home, really. You will confirm with me that even the Boko Harams and everything, they were not born to be terrorists. But now they've shifted their mind to something else. And their mindset is now there, and that place has become their home. Now, if their mindset should now shift to another place, that their mindset becomes their home. I'm a very wet person, and I don't like onions in my food at all. I don't want to see it in my food. Now, the mindset that I have there is, if I have onions in my food, something is going to happen to me. That is a mindset. Now, if mistakenly or something happened, I start to eat onions again in my food, the mindset have changed. Hence, my home has changed. So it's just the mindset where well, you can say that. So coming back is for the question they asked. So coming back home, it doesn't matter how bad the home is where you come back. So it changes, really. It's just the mindset. Thank you very much.
Okay, quickly, I just want to buttress your point about where the mind is. I know from listening to Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry tells stories of how when he was growing up, he was in an abusive home, so there was always chaos. But there's something he used to do where he made a little box where he goes in to go into his mind and imagine. So in his imaginations, he created the world he wanted to live. And a lot of his imaginations now has come true in his adult life. But I am saying what he's saying about like home being where your mind is that sometimes you can be in a physical space, but it's not where your mind is. So I kind of agree with that like home also is where your mind, and that also kind of connects to what he said about purpose. Right, yeah.
So thank you so much. So I'm going to take a couple more performances now to just bring a bit more life into the conversation as well. But I think we're leaving off at a very good place, and then it keys into where I feel like we're taking the conversation next, and that is one is for most people, home is not stationary. It is not fixed. It changes, and it could change per time, per place. I spend a lot of my time between Lagos and Abuja. There are some places that when I'm in Abuja, there are some places where I'm in and I'm comfortable in it. So for Abuja, there's a place that I feel like, okay, this is my safe, cool space when I'm in Abuja. When I'm in Lagos as well, and there are some places, and it's not even one place in Lagos. There are some places that when I'm in there, I feel like, okay, this is my comfort zone. So I think the key there is the fact that home is not just one place. It is not fixed. It is how you perceive it. And it doesn't have to be just one singular thing. And on top of that, and this is where I would want us to like kick off the conversation after the performances, and I think the Tyler Perry story also contributes to that. If we say home is transitionary, then how do we perceive moving from one home to another? Do we say moving from a place where you're comfortable as of now and saying this is home to another place where you feel like this is home? Would we say that is also returning home or finding a new home? A good example to this would be I grew up in. Calm down.
You are speaking for us already, Habib.
So I just want to add a story to Femi. Calm down.
Femi, hold on. Hold on.
To add a story to buttress this. So I always like to say I grew up in the not so cozy part of Lagos, where it's so much fun, and it's the kind of place where you wake up in the morning and you look across your house, and the people in front of your house, the husband and wife, are shouting at themselves early in the morning, and that's what you wake up to. Or the next minute, somebody has carried someone's bucket, and there is shout, and there's that chaos. That's the kind of place I grew up in. And I happen to have found myself in different parts of the world, and maybe the kind of place I live in now is somewhere where I don't get that. Everywhere is just quiet. Everybody, when they enter inside their house, they go to sleep. And somehow, when I was there, I longed to want to get out of that kind of environment. To want to, I want to also do this so I can be in this kind of quiet environment. But now, I miss those chaos. And sometimes I just be like, why is everywhere just this quiet? And the thing about that is, where I am now is home. Where I was then is home. So how do we essentially return home? We pick back the conversation. We'll come back, and we have a comedian to come and make us laugh small. I think we've talked about very, very serious things, and everybody's face is serious. We need to lighten up the mood. So we have our next performance is a comic performance. Please give a round of applause as he comes on stage. Brian Weezy.
Clap, oh, clap, 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 clap. Yes, yes. So I love the fact that we are talking about home, and this feels like a family meeting. The way we are seated, it's sitting like it's receiving some advice. Tosin. That's Kiji, right? Okay. So I want us to quickly do an exercise. Don't expect comedy. I'm here to talk. So if you find it funny, you laugh. So I want us to quickly do an exercise. It's a positive affirmation. Can we say this to ourselves? Things are getting better. Say like you mean it. Say things are getting better. Say this to yourself. Say, my needs are met. My bills are paid. I'm working in the overflow. I have more than enough. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, your shoe will not cut on your way to success. Say it again. Say, your shoe will not cut on your way to success. A round of applause for yourself, please. Yeah. You see, Nigeria is supposed to be our home. Yes. But things has fallen apart. Yes. Things fall apart. That novel was written at the very wrong time. When they write that novel, things never really fall apart. Now things they fall apart. Even what goes around does not have transport to come around again. What goes around is stranded. To whom much is given, don't run. He ran away with the much that was given to him. Yes. Make hay while the sun shines is the same thing as iron your clothes immediately when they bring light. The cost of living is now too cost for the living. If you even have opportunity to reap the fruit of your labor now, don't plant it again. No. Eat it. It may never grow again. Yes. If you see another person's fruit of labor and your own never ripe, follow the person shop. Oh. Yes. Yes. From the look of things, time to put on for bad thing don't reach. Yes. If the finger that is feeding you has stopped feeding you, bite it. Yes. Bite it. Yes. If you see what thing belong to Caesar now, Caesar hello. Seize it. The conversation of home should not be discussed with person who never pay house rent. Bro, you don't have a home. Yes. You get. You see, things fall apart. Gone are the days where to settle down was very affordable. As a young man now, if you want to settle down, once they show you marriage list, you stand up. Yes. To settle down now don't cost. Very expensive. And we now live in a generation where people are actually very wicked. This period, feel free to pay evil for evil. Nobody be small picking again. Everybody knows what they are doing. If not for wickedness, why will they carry light and put at the end of the tunnel? Wait to do the entrance. Laugh, oh, laugh, oh. A round of applause for yourself, please. You see, one of the reasons an atmosphere like this is very good is this. See, let me tell you something. When you fail to create time for happiness, the time for sadness will create itself. Am I communicating? As all of us take day different now, that's how we have different problems. If they say, may we drop our problem now, may we exchange them. If you say another person problem, you go rush, pick your own back. Yes, even as I speak to you, a problem shared is a WhatsApp status. Yes, you tell person your problem now. After 5 minutes, go check his WhatsApp status. You see something like, oh, but people get problem for this life. They are talking about you. It is very funny how in this part of the world people do problem competition. The easiest way to know another person's problem is to tell them your problem. If you want to know his problem, now just tell him to give you some cash. He will tell you a problem that is bigger than your own. You get? You see, and this is why I would like to say this. In fact, this period, the people where they pity pass, now people where they look up to me. I know say by now, their neck go down, they pain them. See, don't feel bad when you expect people to be there for you and they are not there for you. Because these days, people are struggling hard to be there for themselves. Am I communicating? Yes, you are. Not be say people wicked though. Now they expect a lot from people where they go through a lot too. Yeah, you know, in Nigeria now, you see that you are going through a lot, coming from a lot, or you are about to enter a lot. Yes, you see that one of these two. I was talking about a wicked generation. Someone was owing me and was boldly doing giveaway on Instagram. I participate, he no pick me. The time say try again. Ladies and gentlemen, because of time, this is my first time here actually. You can clap for me, please. Yeah, my friend Tosin is my very good friend. He said, Brainweezy, you must perform. So if you want to really, really watch my comedy performance, you can check my YouTube, Brainweezy TV. I just dropped a comedy special. Brainweezy official on Instagram and Brainweezy TV on YouTube. I just dropped a comedy special titled Point of View. You can watch it, a 1 hour comedy special. I'll say this before I go. No matter what you are going through in life, have it at the back of your mind that one day you will look back and smile. But for now, face front, make motor for no jam you.
Thank you so much, Brainweezy. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Brainweezy. I think that was a much needed comic relief. Before Nigeria problem will finish us. So keeping the performance going, I'm going to call on for a poetry performance. One of my organs. Actually, just a quick story. I think for someone like us, there was a point where you would see something and feel like, oh, this is something I feel I want to do. And I think the person I'm about to bring on was some of those people that we were looking at. To like, oh, what this person is doing is really cool. I think I also want to do spoken word poetry.
You are still little. Let me help you rephrase. The people you are looking at.
We're looking at him.
I think that's
it's very important.
I like to call Sage Acid. Sage is he's the premier spoken word poet in the whole of the country. Like, if there's one person that propagated the heart of spoken word poetry in Nigeria, it is Sage. That round of applause is I will collect as much of back.
If you want small chops to reach, just clap. Especially if it's not close to you yet.
So I'm going to read like the old man that I am. I think it's a bit long. I hope I should have to hold the mic like this or just like this. Because the point is, because you can't hear the thing coming out of a speaker, so you're wondering why you're just holding a mic and pretending, but I get it. So. Oh, that's good. Okay. Yeah? Am I good? Okay. So, I hail from a tribe of warriors and soldiers, poets and scholars, slaves, slave owners, Muslim, Christian. I hail from a tribe of warriors and soldiers, poets and scholars, slaves, slave owners, Muslim, Christian, preachers and proselytes, witches and wizards, savants, and they never do well or two. I am the fruit of these people, standing on the root they sank into the earth and reach for the branches and boughs and stand high up so I can bask in the sun of a new day. A new day, the reason for time, for history, for love, for life, the coming together of many rivers, the harbinger of that which is to come. I am Eginupe de Galapai. I trace my roots to the Fulani scholars who founded Islam in northern Nigeria long before British rule took hold. These scholars inseminated the locals, marrying their ways with an alien religion and culture. They spawned a destiny, heads wrapped in turbans that couldn't hide their pride. They faced the sandy winds of the desert, brazen heat, scorched dreams. On camels and horses, they came galloping through the Niger, warring with swords and Quran, killed in verses in blood and ink. My great-grandfather was a slave owner, a mean lord, unloved by those he owned. He sired kings and priests, and in him was found the seed that bore the seed that eventually bore the fruit that I am. In him laid poetry and art, beating beneath his breast was my heart. His mind was on his money as mine are on my words. I am the redemption of his folly, and he the beginning of mine, the beginning of my wisdom, the end of his folly, I hope. On the other side, however, the story is different. My mother hails from a small tribe of small people, hid in the crook of small mountains in the very large heart of Nigeria, or Nok, or Gurara, or Jama'a. A motley crowd of tribes, my mother. She was named Victoria and her sister Elizabeth after the two great queens of England. Stories of whom were brought down by white conquerors, wielding muskets and Bibles, telling stories of a brown man God bleached white to suit a Eurocentric prejudice. They came with wiles, a people of guile, bringing mirrors and trickery that made mockery of the ways of our people. Splintered dreams reflected in broken mirrors, sniped cuds but rusty Caesars. My mother's people are a little people, a people of songs so melodious with a harmonious choir, their beauty equaled in part by their rancor, a divisiveness so dire, a small people decimated by ill will and petty rivalries and jealousies brought on by the advent of new religions that maddened old gods. Africa's degenerative tragedy set in motion. Sleeping gods were cannibalized, old ways scanned and sold abroad. Now like ostriches we bury our heads in sand. I remember my grandmother, a little loving, strong woman, quick to smile and be lost in emotion, to be found without was just a personification of pure love and maternal instinct. She would be under the shade of a tree on market days, trading delicacies she baked or cooked and gruel she brewed. She will offer this to me all mushy and molding and show me the love a person can have for another without saying, I love you. I love you. I miss her as much as I miss her as much as I miss my mother. She reminds me of my mother and my mother of her. Their memory almost meshed but into one older and uneducated but a bastion of tradition, the other a teacher of Western ways learned from Christian missionaries, and sometimes just as much. I miss my father and his mother, my other grandmother, Hajia Mirosani. And the truth comes home to me that love is stronger than death and stronger than the distance between a million oceans in worlds set apart by time and eternity. Love lives forever. Love is greater than life, for love comes with its own reward. I am the express image of my family, 1,000 years bodily. My soul has lived forever, literally, through many lifetimes. I am like a tree. I speak gently of the history that forged me in the crucible of time, their time and my time. The mystery of life trumps the momentary misery of existence. I swim in the history of my ancestry, a keeper of the promise of life given by the Creator to a people rejected and condemned. No one gave them a chance. They were called heathen and evil, but in them laid great good, the good that I seek, the greatness that I reach for the journey of a tree skyward towards heaven to touch God. And as the roots reach into the dark blackness buried deep in the earth, so does the rest of the tree stretch to heaven, hands raised, sun crazed, fire blazed, love laced, life aced, and history phased, the memory of which shines on my face. The earth stands today, sunk in the roots and strung on the branches of trees, family trees. Yeah.
Thank you, Sage, for that. Sage is always supportive. And,
oh, sorry.
Okay, my mic is on. All right, thank you very much, Sage. We start to wind down. We still have a few more performances, so I think we could have struck better balance between performance and conversation, but the conversations were so intense, and it's good. It's why we're here. Just what I wanted to announce, just before I hand over back to Habib, is after the event, we are open to explore the space. Rap Joint, this space we're using for the conversation is the restaurant. So Rap Joint is a culture spot, is inspired by hip-hop and the culture of Lagos, history of Lagos, all together in one space. Then you have the book store that also contains a lot of books, a huge collection that reflects the same theme about hip-hop culture, not just hip-hop from abroad, but hip-hop locally. So you see that green, that's that green there, you see MI. So it's that culture space which makes it very perfect for Gab as well. And then you see a lot of books, autobiographies, fiction books, books on politics, a lot of books on many other topics. And then over there you have the record store. And so again, It's like match made in heaven, where you can not only have these conversations, but also in your spare time, you can reach out to them. You want to host family and friends for birthdays, you can come here. You want to spend time alone, you have access to look at the library, buy a book, spend some time there as well. So I'll keep it at that point. I just wanted to speak about the essence of the space and why it's also very important in terms of energy, value, and everything that we stand for as GAB. So, I hand over back to Habib. Let's have more performances as we wind down because it's looking like 8:30 now. Habib, over to you.
And it's also worth mentioning that Rap Joint has an exclusive listening room somewhere at the back there. That is literally one of the best music experiences I've ever had. You felt like the music was coming from a listening room. Yeah. Very beautiful experience. I would encourage people to try that out. So back to performances. We're going to take one more performance and then we're going to come back to the conversation and we're going to return home, literally. Because when you're home, you're done. It's to close. So okay, so we're going to have Tosin Music. Tosin Music has been one of the very, very constant, consistent faces at GAB. And the fun thing about it is before GAB closed before and now, he always comes and every single time he manages to give like very great performances every time. I'm waiting for the day would. Well, I'm not waiting for it, but let's see. But it's always great performances every time.
I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be here. I'm having an amazing time. And, oh, okay. So he's trying to mic me. Can you guys hear the guitar though? I really do not know what to play, honestly, because I was. Oh, beans and rice.
Bọ́dà táyé kí ló dé tẹ́ fi sọra yín di agbókùnmádé. Ṣebí bàbá yín lónílẹ̀ ẹ̀ kí ló wá dé. Grandfather married 2 wives, born plenty children, ṣùgbọ́n bàbá lè jẹ́ lábúlé. A piece of land was important to all of you, but you still want it all. Many don't die for the work of your hand. Kí ló wá dé o? Olúwa ló nílẹ̀, Olúwa ló nílẹ̀ ẹ̀, Olúwa ló nílẹ̀. Ayé yìí ò lé bíntí láyé ẹ máa wà lé ayé má ilé ayé ilé asán. Kò máa tó nǹkan bíntí láyé ẹ máa wà lé ayé má ilé ayé ilé asán. Kò máa tó nǹkan. Àǹtí Wándé, kí ló dé tẹ́ fi sọra yín lẹ́nu sára lé tààràtà? Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ti dàgbà tó ẹni tó ń gbélé ọkọ? Kí ló wá dé? Coveting other people's husband, bẹ̀lẹ̀ fi yẹ oyún lọ́dọọdún. Ọdọọdún la rórógbó, ọdọọdún la ráwùsá. Ṣẹ́yìn lórógbó, ṣẹ́yìn láwùsá, ẹja wọn bẹ́ẹ̀. Bíntí láyé, ẹ máa wà lé ayé máa ilé ayé, ilé asán. Kò máa tó nǹkan. Bíntí láyé, ẹ máa wà lé ayé máa ilé ayé, ilé asán. Kò máa tó nǹkan.
So I like you all to sing along with me, right? So when I say something, will you sing along with me? Yeah. Are you sure? Pretty simple, yeah? So when I say, don't be foolish, say don't be foolish. I can't hear you all though. Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Come on, come on, come on. Don't be foolish.
Don't be foolish.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Don't be foolish. Don't be greedy. Don't be foolish. Are we tired? Don't be greedy. Don't be foolish. That's how you guys go. Don't be greedy. Don't be foolish. 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 Things like it, so like you know, yeah. Something like that. So am I performing one more song? Okay, one more song. So Bintin Lai was, you know, Bintin Lai means life is short. I mean, don't put the whole world on your chest and.
Life is small.
Yeah, life is small. Bintin, yeah, well, okay, life is small. Thanks for that. So I mean, those were the last words my father spoke, you know, before he passed, and yes, literally. And thanks for making me sing the song. So the next song I'm going to be doing is called Gold. Gold is a song of affirmation. I mean, everybody wants to become successful in every facet of your life, you know, in marriage, in family, you know, in finances, in, you know, so that's what Gold is all about. So enjoy. So I like the way you guys, you know, sang along. Bintin Lai. So you guys are going to do the same favor for me in Gold. Are we good? We're good, right? Nice. Yeye mi wípé kí n má ṣe ṣàdédùn gbogbo àdára. Yeye mi wípé kí n má gbọ̀lẹ́ lálejò. Do your best and the rest is for God to bless. I saw that coming. Those words got me going. The tears brought me strength. I rise above pain, walking 24/7. Open house to go play. Hustle must pay. Throw your hands in the sky, grab some blessings. Everything I touch now turns to gold. Turns to gold. Everything I touch now turns to gold. Turns to gold. So this grows, yeah? Throw your hands in the sky, grab some blessings. Let's do it again. Throw your hands in the sky, grab some blessings. Everything I touch now turns to gold. Turns to gold. Everything I touch now turns to gold. Turns to gold. So this is verse 2. Kori ma she mi loni she. That's the prayer you've been praying like I love you she. $1 If you don't walk, you don't go get shit. I saw that coming. Those words got me going. I tell all abala, who knows, who wrote tears. They blame their misfortune destiny instead of walking towards making it. Throw your hands in the sky, grab some blessings. Everything I touch now just go, just go. Everything I touch now just go, just go. Everything I touch now just go, just go.
So when I say, toss the goat, toss the goat, toss the goat, let me hear you say, toss the goat, toss the goat, toss the goat. I can hear you, toss the goat, toss the goat, toss the goat. Let me hear you say, one more time, y'all. Let me hear you say. Throw your hands in the sky, grab some blessings.
Thank
Thank you very much. So I go by name Tosi Music once again. So please follow me up on all my socials, Twitter, Instagram, Tosi Music. I follow right back, so yeah. Fear not. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you so very much.
Yep.
Tosin Music. That's a great performance.
Thank you very much.
I think just to keep that tempo, that energy going back to back, we're going to have more performances. Hadaobi. Good. Thank you.
Good info.
No, na clap na. Na don't chop the small chops finish, abi. I get it here. I see if you collect.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Can I pin this on you? Can I put it down for using my...
Okay. So, yeah, my cat thinks her meal awaits her. She forgets the flies, the ants, the crickets, the lizards, the mice, the squirrels, the birds. She watches the birds and they sit taciturn without a care on power lines, watching her too. She always loses them, the squirrels too. The mice she has caught on more than one occasion, doing whatever she pleases with their anatomy. The lizards too. The crickets make for good protein, I hear. And she's neither behind on that info, nor lagging on its benefits. The ants she doesn't dignify with as much as a gaze when they're all over her lunch. And the flies, they forget her, so she eats them. I'm Adobe Chemelo, and I'm on IG at Dao Lilies, DAO Lilies, Lies. And I have a couple more poems. What? No common place for woman. The men in our house have to eat of the offerings to connect to the spirits, but we don't. We sit because they offer us chairs. They suffer not our backs to split, while they eat the choicest of parts, the thick thighs of the chicken messengers, their hearts and gizzards. But in eating, they are becoming. We don't need to eat to become. We already are divinity. Though that is not what they say. No, they say you're only women. Only men are allowed in the inner sanctuary, but your sanctuary is made of a roof without luscious locks and bricks without flesh. We hold the holiest of holy sanctuaries in case you haven't noticed. This here is a house that breeds magic. There's no common place for a name that speaks God. To bleed a throat dry. A monster that doesn't know it's a monster. Father's accusations pervade the thin air with spikes that latch onto my throat. I have learned to not speak back. Silence drowned him in a foreboding that his daughter had grown to be a ghost. I cascade back some flesh and this time nail myself to his directions. In bleeding, I might have room to paint myself a bolder sky on the days I don't see one. And the last one. I made a vow not to kill, and on that day I found a scorpion. I could swear it would kill me first. How can you rest here? It says. How are you friendly? I ask. Make an attempt to strike as it curls its claw, and I see it's made a vow not to kill too. We're outdoors, and I learn there are no mosquitoes here. Not that I need its spittle corrupting my blood, but really, where are they dancing? It's the outdoors. What would I do if I saw snakes? Why do I want to see one anyways? One sliding across nonchalant, oblivious of these nosy neighbors or whatever. I've made a vow not to kill. Will I strike nonetheless if I feel threatened, say by an image, a shadow, or a thorn? Roses punch when they are due to flower. The snake knows game, they say. Mosquitoes don't. They have made no such vow. Not with 600K deaths accounted for yearly. Nearly every minute, a child under 5 dies of malaria. Not so for scorpions, little devils. Made a vow not to kill. Is it my fault I strike when I'm touched? The unfamiliar is cold and brazen, and in trembling I sting. That's not my fault, is it? When really, I made a vow not to kill.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Adaobi. These are very funny things. It is the day you make that vow not to kill that a rat will refuse. That is when one cockroach will refuse to leave your sitting room, and they will just start walking around. You will chase it, it will come back. Yeah, returning home. Returning home.
Thank you. Thank you. So we left off the conversation for the performances to bring us home. Now it's to look whether we are not. And I think we're rounding up the conversation and we're closing out. And where we're closing out at is, how do we return home? Do you have to have left home for you to return home? Or every single place you are at is home, and your returning home is just finding or just growing into that home? How do we return home? What does it mean to return home? Where is the home that we want to return to? Where is my microphone? Thank you. Returning home. We are returning home now.
Okay, so like I said before, home is safe space. You made mention of peace. What's like differentiating home, peace, right? Yes. So I still feel like talking about returning home, you're living wherever you are to your safe place. I may be at work, I may be anywhere. I'll go back to this example I made. I might be at work, I might be anywhere, but you know, that my room, that mat within my house, within my bed, within that inside my room. Dear, you give me bed, give me anything. I won't go back to that my mat. You understand? That place where I can think. I could think of tomorrow, I could think of anything, and I find peace. Where you find peace is home. So returning home is returning to peace, returning to where you find your peace, returning to that safe space. I still insist.
So I think okay. I think I'll take him first, then you next, then you next. Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay,
I will
so
allow my spirit to lead. my spirit has never led me astray.
Okay, so to me, I would just say that the concept of returning home or being able to find home when we are troubled, right? To me, that lies primarily within us. You understand? The moment we, like I said earlier, elevate people, elevate locations, elevate circumstances, and call them our home, at that moment we give a lot of power to that person, circumstance, position, right? So to me, as much as I said, it's necessary. Those bonds have to be created and elevated, yes. But the most important thing is to ensure that we have two homes. The first home, primary, being the peace we can locate within us, so that when the people we elevate fail us, we know one thing is sure: we'd always find peace and home in ourselves. So no matter what happens, so no matter what happens, no matter what happens outside, right? You must be able to pause in the moment, freeze everything out, and find peace in just being with yourself. That ensures that no matter what happens, no matter who fails you, you can always find the strength to go again tomorrow.
Awesome. Finding peace inside of ourselves before we find it inside of any other person.
Okay. Rest will talk. This one I say. I'm thinking about how, like, for a lot of us, growth is about how we try to remember the core of who we were as children, right? So it's as we grow as adults, there is a part of us, because of societal pressure and other people kind of molding us. So a lot of like adulthood and being like it's what we say, like when we meet people who are older, is that they have some kind of childlike spirits and all of that. Is that as we grow as adults, it seems like we are returning to the core of who we were as a child, right? Yeah. So somehow for me that is returning home. Yeah, where we know where we are authentic, as much as authentic now as responsible or adults, but where we return to like that authenticity that was deep in us, the things we really like, as opposed to what they say we should like. So I think that's also is returning home for me. Yeah.
Makes sense. Returning back to the core of what was important to us as children. I'm trying to look at time here, and I'm looking at all these hands that are going up, and I think it's nice. It feels nice because it brings back memories, and in a way, this is also returning home to Gab, because this reminds me, when I saw a lot of hands, I checked the time and then I saw all of the hands. Then it reminds me that there was never a single Gab that we ever finished a conversation. It was until Third Pyramid would come and say, "Oh yeah, you people come and start going." That is when the conversation would end. And then you would see a group of 4, 5, 6 people would now gather outside of Third Pyramid for another 1 hour to continue the conversation. So this is also in a way returning home to what Gab used to be.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Kiki. I'm a professional broadcaster and some others. So I've listened. I kind of came in a little late, and I heard everyone speak, and everyone has been talking of home and returning home and going home. And what feels like home to me, I would say, is nostalgia. Nostalgia, because you can relate with the feeling you have felt something like that before. So it could be a sound, it could be a safety pin, it could be a particular color, or even music. It's basically returning back to an essence where you feel welcomed, you feel safe, you feel protected, even if it's far across borders. It could be a soup. Yes. So what I would say is, in as much as we have different explanations and different orientations of what home feels like us, what home feels to us and by us, and how we want to make home for us, I would say that we should not forget that it's more about security. Home is that place where you bound to say, I'm here. So guys, it could be in form of objects, it could be in form of connections, it could be time. Like I said, just try as much as possible to feel nostalgia because you felt it before. That's what I would define home as, nostalgia.
Thank you. There's no more hands up, Abby. I'm looking at people that haven't spoken at all. So we can take just one more performance and we can close out.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Babatunde. Good evening, everyone. Can everybody hear me? Okay, my name is Babatunde. I'm a communication specialist. When you raised the topic home, right? Something really came to mind and is screaming even in my head as I speak. And that is the Yoruba proverb which says, Ilela bosimi oko. Meaning that after all our hustles and bustles, there's always a place where we actually find some level of refuge. Okay? It talks about, again, in my mind, something comes to mind, nostalgia, memories, and of course the concept that has been misconstrued over time, love. All right, those three elements, I would say, actually defines what we call home. So many times we find ourselves actually, of course, we actually live in the Gen Z, the Jet Age, and all that. But time and time again, we've seen ourselves, our minds traveling back to some sort of, archaic existence. And whenever our mind travels back to those existence, we feel so safe, we feel so warm. So I would say that, yes, going back to my earlier premise, which says, meaning after hustle and bustles, we always find rest. That place that we actually find rest, even if it's just that part of our childhood, that we cherish most. And anytime we see it, tears come to our eyes, or anytime probably we see something that actually, or see children playing around and we more or less see ourselves in them, we don't know how when smile break out of our angry faces, that is when we'd say we actually find home. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. When he was talking, there was something that came to mind, and that was that could we say home is where we dream from? That place where you see the whole of the world and imagine what you want to do with the whole of the world, and then you can go and do that thing with the world and then come back home. I'm torn between taking one or two more people.
Quick one, Abib. Since I also have a mic and I have small power. I just want to throw a line out there. It's not a comment. It's just something to expand our minds, and it's inspired by his comments. I think something to take home with, because we can't go that route tonight. It's a question. What is home to a reincarnate? Think about it.
That one has gone into the realm of metaphysics.
It's not for tonight. It's not that deep. When you start to think about it. What if I lived 10 lives?
So, rest, Kiki, Kiki. Thank you. Okay, you and then
Okay.
Kiki.
Okay, thank you.
Let's not start.
Yeah.
Okay.
That route you are going, we'll not get to many times.
So, I wanted to say three quick things, but somebody has said one thing already, so I'm just going to say two things. The first is that as we have this conversation about home, what home has to be and everything, I just want to tie it back to what we said about mindset. The mind is a very powerful thing, and it has the capacity to transport you, even if you're not physically with that person that is your home, even if you're not physically in that space that you feel comfortable in, you can transport yourself there. And there are some
things that you can actually, she mentioned music. For example, if you're in a place where you are sad, you are confused, you might just need to listen to a song that takes you to that point, that transports your mind. So that is one thing that I want to say. So it's a conscious effort of knowing what can take you to that space where you're safe. The last thing I want to say is really about investment or prioritizing home. In the case of physical home, someone that has traveled abroad and you're back, the first thing is prioritizing the things that makes that home homely for you. Don't wait until that time that you need those things. When you're carried away with all the things that is happening, prioritizing making that home homely, so that every time you get back there, it is there for you and you can take the best of it. Thank you.
If there was an interior designer in the house now, this is where you'd have plugged your business.
Okay. So for me, according to Rex's question, he asked that what is returning home to you as a person? For me right now, returning home would be a state of mind. A state of mind where, so right now I'm a writer. So state of mind would be that a point where I'm not trying to think of making a living. A point where I'm writing from, because I told myself that, Demisola, you used to write so well. What's wrong? For me, right now, and I tell people, I'm trying to make a living. So it means that I need to come to that state of mind, or I would have said that, okay, when I make all the money in the world, and then I'm not doing this thing because I want to make money, because at that point you have everything and you're not doing it because you want to make money. So that's a state of mind. However, as humans, we have to keep working. You get this one, you want to get another one. So it means that I have to get to that state of mind where I feel contented with everything I have, and I feel that, yes, I can create from this place. For me, that's a personal answer. Yeah, so thank you for asking.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I just realized I haven't answered what my own home is. So I think for me personally, I am answering it for other people. But I think home for me, I would always say is family. Because regardless of what it is, how it is, I always feel like family for me is usually a very big deal. But I would also like that family to be in in a 10-room mansion that has a swimming pool. That's also home. But yeah, that's home. I think I would close out the conversation there. We have one last performance. The person probably doesn't know he's going to perform because he probably saw the performance list and probably believes his name is not there. But as we close out, please a round of applause for our last performance. Round of applause for Rez as he comes to come and perform. And he doesn't have an option, he's going to perform. So perform.
You sound like a bully right now. Okay. The funny thing is, I suspected this was going to happen. So I stepped outside earlier on to what if this guy tries to surprise me? I knew this could happen. So there's something I was discussing with Ruth over the weekend, because we were listening to my last spoken word album. It's titled Cold and Frustrated. You should check it on all streaming platforms. There's a piece there. It's titled Home is Always You. I've never performed it. So I went outside to see if I can remember the words. I gave it a shot. I had some hiccups, but I'll still give it another shot. Maybe I won't have to miss any line. So this is titled Home is Always You. Let me go. Go to return like I always do. Wait to wait till the sunset for signs like an oracle. You first have to let me go. go and I return like I always do. Because home is always you. Let me go. Go to return like I always do. Wait to wait on the sunset for signs like an oracle. You first have to let me go and I return like I always do. Because home is always you. Self-fashioning destinies born of prophecies that you birthed from your own rhetoric. A malnourished image immersed in the rage of trust. A borderline anorexic. The fears imagined in your mind. Ones your insecurities find and give life to. The imagined names, the imagined words and names crushed in your brains just like an haiku. The death of you, the birth of us, love, verse, us, lost. The rage, the age, the stage, the rage, blues and hues that shades our precincts. Only if you let me go. Let me go. Go to return like I always do. Wait to wait till the sunset for signs like an oracle. You first have to let me go and I return like I always do. Because home is always you. The fears are jar that you want to share with me. The cares and scars that you forcibly want to bear with me. Those moments when you believe to disbelieve your own beliefs. Time, you made me believe time doesn't matter. Time is the essence. Tickings are sounds of shatter. And that all shall pass like when we share in the gift of the present. Your person questions, pregnant with their own answers. The life that life dealt, turning dangerously like mambas, black, like your imaginations. Those that usher palpitations. Only if you know that I long started a sanitation of my mind. That the me you thought you lost, you still shall find. So far you keep your trust in time. And let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Go to return like I always do. Wait to wait on the sunset for signs like an oracle. You first have to let me go and I return like I always do. Because home is always you. Someone spoke about not making other people your home. And I thought this piece reflected that a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. And here we're closing out on the Gap
Louis.
launch. Gap the
All right, bro.
edition.
Thanks for coming in.
Gap,
Next month.
like I
Sure.
said, is
All right, bro.
it's conversation,
All right.
it's culture, it's art, it's performances. And Gap happens every last Thursday of every month.
Hiya. Take care. See you
So
next
yeah,
month.
I think with this, and I actually think it's very instrumental that today we talked about hope, because I would say that some couple years back when Gap was still live, I think for quite a number of people that I know, I've had a couple of people say, oh, Gap is old. I feel, because a lot of people come, they say very deep things. I know this is very starting Gap. I know those kind of sessions will still happen. We've had Gap sessions where people have broken down and cried at Gap. We've had Gap where people have talked about very deep things that you probably say nobody knows this about them. So for quite a number of people, it felt like hope. So it's for the fact that Gap is coming back after a 4 years.
Has come back.
Has come back after a 4 years hiatus. So I think in a way that is also returning. I think for me personally, that was something that I held in a very, very high esteem back then. And that was because, again, the community itself.
Gab means to speak. Gab means to connect. But Gab also means Griots and Bard. Hopefully, you get to experience more of what we are as a community and see you more. The last point I wanted to add to what he said is don't forget to walk up to that person, share your name, what you do. Gab is also all about networking. So many beautiful things and relationships and businesses and jobs and advices have come out of Gab. Let's never miss out on those opportunities. So this end point is where you have that short chat with that person, exchange contacts. You're looking for a boyfriend, girlfriend, you can find at Gab as well. Very, very important. Thank you very much. See you all next month. And this is a great start as far as I'm concerned, and we build on this. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming out. Bye-bye.
Yep. Hi, Ruth.
Good to have got back.